Hi everybody. I'm making this as kind of an addendum because I clearly screwed up on my daily walkthrough. I had the wrong screen up, so I'm a dope. I take full credit for that. Okay, two different ways you can get to today's. You can go to Agenda, which takes you to our daily, or you can go to e-learning and click down on what we're working on today. So I'm not going to go through all this again, but I do want to go through period 4. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull up the assignment for period 4. And so what I'd ask you to do, which is very similar to what we've been doing, students are going to practice breaking down DBQ quickly and efficiently. We want to try to do this in 10 minutes or so. I'm going to go ahead and open up the doc, and I will open up the DBQ planner. Now you can already see I've done some initial work on that, and I'm going to go ahead and I'll delete that in just a second. But as I look at this, as I look at period 4, let's see. Yeah, I'll just delete that in a second. As I look at period 4, here's my question. Right, my question is, evaluate the extent of changes in perception of national identity. So how much did people during the era of good feelings, how did their perception of national identity change? So evaluate the extent of the change. How much did it change? How much, what is it? It is the perception of national identity. So as we go through here, what I want to try to do is I'm going to kind of quickly jump between these two documents. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paste the prompt up there so I don't have to keep going back and forth. Ideally, if I could do this, if you have a screen that allows you to have both of them up at the same time, sometimes the Chromebook doesn't work exactly the way you want it to. But so this is kind of how I would break it down. I want to use this DBQ planning sheet. I want to have some version of it next to me as I am working on this when I'm taking the test in May. So, you know, we still have about a month that we will get very, very good at this. The idea is on these notes on each doc, we're trying to get this done within 10 minutes or less. We want to have kind of our pre-stuff already, all of our pre-research, everything kind of taken care of. So anyway, so I'm going to post the prompt up there. And then as I begin to look at each document here, I'm going to kind of take some notes on it. So doc 1, Jock is the John Randolph. I might even put, just for contextual, 1816. So I know at this point the U.S. is really young. 1776, we declare our independence. We're not a full nation until 1783 when we signed the peace treaty. We're not accepted as a full nation of the world. And so we're still, you know, if this is written in 1816, we're like 20 years away, 30 years away from the revolution. So they're really trying to, at this time, develop this sort of national identity. And how are they going to do it? Well, the one problem we do note is that each section of the country kind of thinks they have the best way to move our country forward. Whether it's the Northeast in manufacturing or trade, where it is the Midwest or the West, which is agriculture. And then we have in the South, we have cash crops. So each one of these regions really wants to emphasize its way to create wealth. Okay, so let's just look at document 1. John Randolph, Congress, 1816. So there's a couple things I'm adding in there. Letter to Congress. So that way I know it's a little bit more legitimate. It's not like John sending a letter to Bill. It is not that way. What else can I put in here? So he says, "Sir, I'm convinced that it would be unjust to aggravate the burdens of the people for the purpose of favoring the manufacturers." So immediately I begin to see in here where he's trying to talk about like one industry shouldn't be the primary interest in America, that we should look to create manufacturing. We should look to enhance our agricultural output, look for ways to increase our cash crops, because ultimately the government earns income when they tax those items either leaving the country or coming into the country. So anyway, what I kind of got on this is he said kind of one industry shouldn't be the primary interest. So then and it may not be enough. Maybe I need to go back a little bit more. When I come over to the HIP, remember I got to do at least 2 HIPs total, and that would be from document 1 or document 2. But in here, I want to pick one of these that I know I can do. I'm pretty good with historical context, although in this case, I don't think context is as important as who would he be writing his letter to? Well, of course, he's writing it to America or to Congress, but he's also writing it to all of America. And what I'm referring to are kind of course, like the citizens. What's his purpose? He's trying to convince America not to put all eggs in one basket, meaning we shouldn't have an economy based upon agriculture. We shouldn't just have an economy based upon cash crops and the use of slaves. We shouldn't just have an economy based upon agriculture. So he's arguing that we shouldn't put everything in one basket, that we should spread out how we develop wealth in our country. As I move on to document 2 then, and I'm only going to do that first one just to kind of show you kind of how I would do it. But what I would do then is after I get done with these 5 docs, I'm going to come over here. So what do I want to say as far as context? Let me just bold that real quick. It bothers me. Okay. So what can I say? So we're out of the revolutionary period. So we're trying to establish a national identity. We're trying to open up the West for more resources. These are all things I'm trying to include in context. I want my context to be in full sentences, though. I want my thesis to be in full sentences. Okay? Evidence, source analysis, you can just kind of quickly break it down with bullet points. But wherever it says sentence, like topic sentence, please try to write a full sentence if you can. What else? Anything? So my goal is to try to have context, a thesis, at least 2 claims. I need at least 2 documents in there. So let's go ahead here and let's look at a couple of examples. So I'm back to this main page. I'm almost out of time here, so I really got to hurry. I provided a couple of student samples. So let me go ahead and open them up. And each one's a little bit different. Each one is good. Each one has some mistakes. Okay, so let's look at this first one. It doesn't have names on it, so I appreciate the person who involuntarily volunteered their assignment. But what we can see is, so document 1, what I would have liked is they would have labeled it, but that's okay. What do they think? I think this is a little too limited. Government involved in commercial affairs. Let's look at the other one. They had more bullet points like 1816, Congress and government, taxes. I still think that's a little light. So, if we're looking at, what did I do with it? If we're looking at our own version, I put a little bit more in there. What is actually it is about. It's just not taxes. Here, I'm going to move these over here. That's a good thing I don't have a lot of time. Okay. So, not too bad. Intended audience, the U.S. government, we got to be a little bit more specific. Again, document 2, Transcontinental Railroad, we got to be a little bit more specific because we have to keep going back to our prompt. How does what I'm saying here help as evidence to help answer my question? That becomes the key issue. Let's cruise over to where their outline is. So in this case, what I see, the context of my first, or of the overall thing of my overall essay is the era of good feelings. I see that as being kind of light. There's no explanation of the era of good feelings. There's no reason as to why the era of good feelings now exists. If you remember kind of what we put, some of our context is we're now out of the revolutionary period. So what we're trying to do is establish a national identity. We are trying to open up the West to the natural resources so that we can begin to extract those to trade them. And out of it, then we start to develop, maybe I can also put develop regional identities, talking about the North, the South, and the West. But we know that is the Midwest now. Identities. God, I wish I could type and spell. The other thing I would say is when you are writing your thesis, make sure you have 2 claims. So you want to restate the prompt, but you also want to you want to include your claims in there with just a little bit of explanation. Make sure you have multiple pieces of document. So like this student did a good job here. Well, let's look at their thesis here. Winning the war gave Americans an intense feeling of nationalism towards their new country. Well, I have to go up, look at their context. The Americans just won the War of 1812, gaining their independence. We actually gained our independence in the Revolutionary War, not the War of 1812. So if we actually take this out, we could say the Americans just won the war, gaining their independence from Great Britain. That's relative. I would like your context to be a little bit more developed than that. But let's look at the thesis. Winning the war gave Americans an intense feeling of nationalism. Well, what are your 2 claims? I don't see any claims in here. You should have put in patriotism up here. You should have put on building a more national government or national economy, something. But use your claims here within your thesis. Let's look at the second student. The changes in the perception. See, here the context is way too brief. It doesn't tell us anything. This student would not get a point for context. The changes in the perception of national identity during the era of good feelings, there's a restatement, was partially due to differing ideas of taxation. There's 1. Propositions of new transportation systems. So my question is, how would transportation help create a new national identity? So I need to kind of have some little level of explanation on their claims. What we do know is transportation does connect the nation. That's going to help people travel now between the North, the South, and the Midwest. As more trains develop, there's more access to those goods. So that is a good answer. It just needs to be developed a little bit more. Okay? So you can take a look at what those other students have done. That is, I'm running out of time here, so I want to make sure I cover everything. So that's kind of where we're going with that period 4. So at this point, we've done a DBQ for 3, 4, and now we have 5. I will put some more review stuff on here, but if you look at period 5, here's the key topics. Half of these we did before the end of the first semester. The second half or the 5, 6, 7, we kind of talked about it in the second semester. So this was one of those periods that we broke up. I will keep putting some more review materials on there, but today's DBQ deals with Reconstruction. So what you're going to try to do, I apologize, I don't have corona. I'm going to read the prompt as quickly as I can, evaluate the extent of change in Southern society during the period. So notice we keep getting over and over these evaluate the extent. How much did the Southern society change after the Civil War? So I just wrote down some quick notes. These I can immediately put down as context. So I'm going to erase these so people don't get confused with it. What else? So as I begin to look at these documents, I begin to want to somehow, how do they fit into like new Southern society changes? Well, as I look at this one, this is from Alfred Wad, The Freedmen's Bureau, Harper's Weekly, 1868. And what we see here is 2 different groups of people being kind of separated by a military officer. Well, one of the things that we didn't know, if I go back to this and, oh, that's the other one. If I go back up here and, nope, that's not what I want. Okay, never mind. When I had my notes on here, I know the South was divided into different military districts. So we have a military commander of a district who is separating what looks to be probably the lower class of whites with African Americans. Now, why would he be separating them? And notice they all have weapons. So why would this white, poor Southerners be so upset with these newly freed African Americans?